I believe that our lawyer's been trying to serve Robyn's ex for about 4 or 5 weeks.
We're trying to say, look, we'll forgive the child support debt. We'll forgive the medical bills that you owe us for. It's actually a really good thing for him. Honestly, if we have to fight him, it will get very bad for him. It'll turn very, very bad for him, very ugly.
If their biological father is not cooperative, I have no problem just raining down some fury. I'm really willing to go to that place. I am willing to go to war here. I am absolutely willing to go.
Hey friends, this is Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. It is Friday, February 2nd, 2024. This week has been one of those weeks where now that Sister Wives is over, I've been able to do some more deep diving into the story of the Apostolic United Brethren and talk a little bit more about the world that is the truth about polygamy versus the illusions that we see on the show. And one of those illusions that we saw on the show was how Cody and Robyn portrayed Robyn Brown's ex-husband, Preston Jessup. Robyn's ex-husband is a father of 7 children. He has 3 with Robyn and 4 with his new wife, Jennifer, who he's been married to for years. So she's not really a new wife. And on the show, Robyn portrayed Preston as a pretty awful dad. She did that whole purity speech. Do you remember the purity speech where she told people that he stole her purity? Do you remember that?
One girl, she took her purity and she gave it to someone who begged for it. And he begged for it and begged for it. So she gave it away. She gave away her purity, backed it. He threw it on the ground. He broke it. And then when she finally found the guy that she was supposed to be with, she had to go to him and say, look, I gave away my purity to someone else. He kind of stole it from me. And this was supposed to be yours, but I gave it to someone else, and I'm so sorry.
From a layman's eyes, and for those of us that don't live in the world of polygamy, this is a very offensive accusation to make against someone. But in the world of polygamy, Robyn is regurgitating doctrine and indoctrination she's heard her whole life at church, which is that the woman's virtue or purity is the treasure of the man that she was predestined to marry by God. And that because all relationships and all marriages are visions in God, inspired by God, and God has already made this decision for you, if another man takes your purity and he's not the person that God was supposed to have you with, then that guy stole your purity and he's stealing another man's treasure. And if a man and a woman get together outside of the church, like Robyn and Preston did, and they don't take the proper channels within the church, they're risking, the woman is risking allowing the man to steal her purity.
That's why these things are so important. You sisters are so valuable. You were born with a virtue that should be honored and cherished. And as young men, that is your role, is to be a protector of that virtue. These precious sisters are the treasure of another man, and he gives that treasure to you to protect. But it's upon correct principle, and when you go in the back door to steal another man's treasure, that is so improper. There are the right way to do this. That's what this is about. We need to go through the right channels, and when you receive that treasure, and not just pieces of it here and there, the value of it. So go through the right channel. Prepare yourself to go through the right channel. Ladies, the modern society has taught us to fight for equality, when it used to be that we held women on a pedestal and we honored them. We honored you. Nowadays, it's not that. We've talked about this kind of before. We fight for equality, and now ladies can sit with men in deplorable situations, and you'd never be there. You'd never find yourself there before. That is a misrepresentation of truth. So stay true to the truth. Find those out for yourself.
The clip that you just watched was an event for the youth in the Apostolic United Brethren. This was an event held at the RCA building in Bluffdale, Utah. And it was the youth leaders discussing with the children, ages 12 to 16 and 17, about the proper channels and ways to court. And in this hour and 42 minutes of video that I have, that I'm not going to show you all, they explain to the kids that in order to get approved to court someone, they have to have full approval of the brethren, the leaders of the church, and that no one is allowed to speak to anyone and date without that approval. And so when boys and girls the same age begin talking and chatting and flirting and potentially wanting to start a relationship and they haven't had approval, they get scolded by the leaders. And in this clip, what this leader is saying is that he has witnessed members of the youth group becoming and developing relationships with each other, and they're not getting approval from the brethren. And so the brethren are the ones that decide basically who can court and who cannot court. They decide if a relationship can move forward or not forward. And anyone can ask about anyone, boys or girls. But 12-year-old girls at this event are being told that they're not equal. They need to ignore what the society standards say, that they can do whatever they want and be like a man and have the same access to resources, that they have the same rights in the United States under the law. They're told that that's not the truth and that the truth is in the gospel. And the AUB is a anti-government organization that doesn't believe that the laws of this land pertain to them. I just wanted to show this to you so that you know that what I tell you isn't coming from thin air. This is actually what they tell the kids. And so girls are viewed as treasure. Their virtue, which is their virginity, that's what he's talking about, is a virtue that they ask boys to protect. And that if someone steals that virtue from another man, it's improper. So that's where the purity speech comes from, just giving you some context. But that is a very toxic belief system, and that has been placed on men that leave the culture, that don't abide by these rules. And that was placed on Preston Jessup, that he stole her virtue, that he stole her purity, even though they had children, even though they were married. It didn't matter to them because they don't believe in what we believe in. They believe in, like, it's hard to believe, to be frank. But because of the smear campaign and all this horrible content that's been put out about Preston, I thought that I could at least share with you something that's been going on with him for about a year, where he is in a fight for his life. And he has a GoFundMe set up. Actually, his sister set up a GoFundMe. And there's been some updates. And I'm going to share with you the GoFundMe so you have an understanding of what's going on. And I know I've referenced this a little bit on the channel, but I thought I would at least share this for you so that you, if you feel compelled to donate to him or to his family, that you can find the link in my description box. And obviously, every single person, you donate at your own risk to whatever it is that you're choosing to donate to. I have spoken to family members, and I know that he is and does have leukemia. And so what is being depicted here is not fraudulent. So the fundraiser was started about a year ago. It was started by his sister-in-law. My brother-in-law, Preston, went in for a routine eye exam. The amazing doctor, Dr. Wilkins, saw something that concerned him and sent Preston in for testing. It turns out Preston has chronic myeloid leukemia. The course of action was to have him take some pills that would keep it under control and eventually put it in remission. The expectation was that he would stay on these pills for 10 to 15 years. And after taking the first round of chemo pills, as Preston calls them, he was having serious internal problems and his numbers were not coming down like they would have. He was scheduled to start another round, and he was told his second round will likely destroy his heart and arteries. Because of this, he was opting to take a natural approach. So they were looking for money to help cover natural options at the time, though I want to be clear, he has gone back on chemo. They were going to be using treatments by a variety of different doctors, and they said the team is committed to save his life, and he is beyond grateful to have them in his corner fighting so hard. He has an amazing wife and 4 beautiful, sweet children that make him more determined than ever to beat this. His health is not great, but he continues to work daily. He's doing everything he can to provide for his family. Jen is a stay-at-home mom who homeschools. Their finances have taken a big hit, but they are hardworking and determined. Everything earned here will go directly to helping Preston fight his leukemia, making sure that he has the proper diet and supplements to get him to gain strength and so that he can continue to provide for his family. We, Preston's family, are joining with Preston and his family to ask for your support as he takes on this fight. We appreciate anything that you choose to donate. This fundraiser was actually started, I think, spring of 2023, and they were trying to go more of a natural route because the chemo pills were really hard on him. And over the summer, it wasn't that natural option when he wasn't going on the pills was really hard on his body. And his white blood cell count became so high that they were worried that he would have a stroke. The update on July 8th was he spent hours in the hospital getting an IV and blood draw 3 times. His blood was thick. The doctor was very concerned and wanted to check x-ray and head too. We got the results back and his white blood cell count is extremely high. They told him to be watching for signs of a stroke since the chances are higher than when the numbers are up. His white blood cell count was 117,000 now. The normal range is 4,500 to 7,000. His body has been in a lot more pain recently, making things tougher, and he's lost a significant amount of weight. Still, though, through the process, he's been keeping positive. So they didn't update for several months. And they were trying to not have to do this on chemo. And the kind of cancer that he does have is well treated on medication, and that if you stay on the pills, most people can go into remission. And because his blood numbers got so high, by November of 2023, by November 2023, his beneficiary, which I'm assuming would have been his wife, said, "It's been a while since I've given an update on Preston, but a lot has happened since. His numbers reached a dangerous point. We had to go back to the medicinal route and go back to the chemo pill. His numbers since have improved greatly, but he has also come with a lot of side effects, which makes things rough on his body. We are so grateful for the improvement in numbers, though, which helps on the hard nights. Thank you for your donations and prayers. We appreciate you more than you know." And then, so he went back on chemo, numbers come down, and then she updated again on January 12th that they were having problems with their insurance. And she said, I have had some people reaching out and asking what's been going on with Preston, so I thought I'd give an update. The last couple of months have been pretty difficult. Dealing with insurance has been a huge hassle, and as of November of last year, he was dropped. Still waiting after all this time to hear back if the renewal has gone through, and haven't heard a word. Since he's been taking the chemo pill, running out of his meds would be deadly. Without insurance to cover the cost, there's no way we could afford the meds he needs. The other big thing is that the side effects have taken a toll, and to keep him up at night in excruciating pain, but at the same time keeps his numbers where they should be. To everyone that knows him, if asked, he would smile and tell them things are good. I'm happy he tries keeping positive, but also thought it's worth explaining this side as well, so people know how to pray or help where they can. We are beyond grateful to all of those who've prayed, donated, and reached out. You have no idea how much it helps. Please continue to keep him in your prayers and donate if you're able. Thank you so much for all your love and your support. And then she updated just 2 days ago and said, "Some blessings I thought I'd share. Insurance, after months of not going through, finally approved. They informed me they were 5 months behind and hadn't even looked at the papers I sent. Luckily, I received an email and the following day an agent who approved it. So the meds Preston desperately needed, he can still have. Also, we went to the doctor after not going for 4 months and found out that his numbers look good. Thank you to all of those who've helped out. We are beyond grateful." He is doing better, but he is on a journey that requires a lot of years of medications and of doctor's appointments and blood draws and complications and side effects. So I have quite a heart for anyone going through any sort of chronic illness like this. And given that it's a very high success rate with these medications and that he's going to be battling this for quite some time, I just wanted to provide an opportunity to anyone on this channel that wants to potentially help them out. If you want to donate, the link to their GoFundMe will be included. He has 4 kids that he has with Jen. And if anyone is wondering, if you are concerned about if they are polygamists or not, they are not polygamists. He and Jen are not a part of the polygamist church. I believe Jen is actually, his wife is a Christian. I think they just go to a regular non-denominational church, and they do not participate in any church services. He is not a believer in polygamy. She is not a believer in polygamy. She's actually from outside of the group. And they have been married for years. He has been with Jen, I believe, since 2008 or 2009. So he's been with her as long as Robyn and Cody have been together. And they have had a stable marriage and relationship. So if you feel compelled to help him out, make sure that you do. I will be transparent and let people know that I went ahead and donated $500 to them this afternoon, just to show my audience that if I recommend something, and I'll put my money where my mouth is. So if you feel compelled to help Preston, I'm sure the family would be very grateful. And as far as if Robyn's kids know about this, I have no idea. Back in November, Cody was confronted about if Robyn's kids knew if Preston was sick, and he refused to answer the questions. And when McKelty found out that Preston was sick, she didn't even believe it. And then someone asked her a couple of months ago, or maybe a month ago, if she had told the kids that Preston has leukemia. She said that she hadn't. So I still, to this day, do not know if Aurora, Brianna, and Dayton know that their dad has cancer. And I'm sure if he had the opportunity to speak to them and reconnect with them, he would greatly love that. But they have been completely poisoned against him at this point. So that's my update on Preston. And if you have comments, questions, concerns, make sure to leave some. If you have some comments that you would like to leave for him, make sure you can actually leave comments on his GoFundMe page when you donate. You can also send words of encouragement here. I have no idea if he'll see it, but I can send the video over to his niece, who maybe will share it with him. I don't know. I've never talked to him, and he doesn't want to be a part of the public as far as like having a public face. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.